Alexis on the beat.
And there you have the live pictures coming to you from the Moi International Kasarani Sports Center, where we had witnessed the arrival of the body of the former Prime Minister that was taken off the military gun carriage and into the stadium there after the scenes that we had witnessed of gunfire shots into the air to disperse the surging crowd into the area that was meant to be the sitting positions for the dignitaries, including the president, who we hadn't confirmed his presence. But we had seen the presence of other ODM leadership. But to get what's happening there, let's get in touch with my colleague Jimmy Mbogo by way of link. And Jimmy, what can you tell us? We have heard sounds of gunshots. What exactly is happening?
Well, Ayub, it's quite a scary experience where we are currently standing in somewhere we've had to take cover. So there was a bit of an altercation between the leaders and the crowd that had gathered there. There was a bit of pouring of water on that is on some of the leaders there, and we saw some of the agitated crowd throwing the twigs that they had with them into that is the presidential dais. I believe that should be in the middle. Now, that is what triggered the response from the police officers and the security personnel that were manning that pavilion, both the presidential escort and, of course, the recce team that is currently here at Kasarani Stadium. So that then resulted to the lobbing of tear gas just to try and disperse that crowd that was there. And it didn't matter whether you're media or part of the crowd that was just that had gathered here as mourners. Everyone has been dispersed. So we're still taking cover somewhere within the building, but we will try to go back in and see whether that has been addressed. But majority of the people that had gathered here at Kasarani Stadium, there was a bit of a stampede, and most of them actually ran towards the exit. So if you look at the exit places, and especially next to Gate 4 and Gate 3, that is where majority of the people are currently standing. When you look on behind the presidential pavilion, there's still a number of vehicles here belonging to some of these leaders that were inside. We're trying to just say, and so earlier, Ayub, what we saw is some of these ODM leaders had tried to reach out and speak to try and just calm down, but was getting agitated. I've been here from right around the time that here, which is around 12 p.m. Now, you will remember that the viewing was supposed to happen at Parliament, but because of the crowd there and the very poor crowd control that we saw there, that same crowd had to move back to this side once they got the news that the viewing was supposed to happen right here at the Kasarani Stadium. Now, but as soon as we got here, that is around a few minutes after midday, that is when we found the police and the security apparatus here at the Kasarani Stadium just trying to come up with a strategy and planning themselves. However, a few minutes after we got here, there was slowly building. If you remember from the link that I had done earlier on, we just got into the stadium. The crowd was still very manageable, so there was an opportunity to try and control this crowd better. However, that opportunity was missed because as the security operators were still getting their acts together, the crowd kept on, and so they ended up getting into the stadium through all the entrance that they could find, and slowly onto the. Now, ideally, what we were told the plan was for them to get into the stadium, that is between Gate 9 and Gate 10, and walk around the stadium, view the body right down, right on the field level. That is where the viewing was supposed to happen, straight on across from the presidential pavilion, and they were supposed to walk straight into Gate 4 and exit through that gate. However, before even the barrier could be set up, the crowd kept on increasing, and so it became a nightmare. It became very evident that the security operators were not ready to receive this crowd that was building. But then, so the crowd went on, and we saw a number of leaders from the ODM party that were already here. They tried to speak to them just to try and get them to calm down, to try and get them to be patient. However, there has been no communication from the leaders that are currently here. We have tried to, we're hoping that at least there would be a bit of a direction to be given. And right above me, I can see former Chief Justice, that is David Maraga, who's also taken cover in the VIP area. And so that just goes to show you that no one was spared in this chaos that we have witnessed a few minutes ago. So there was a bit of tear gas that has been lobbed, and what is believed to be either live or rubber bullets that was that was in the air, trying to make sure crowd that was really bulging and asking to know what is the way forward. We will try also to, if we can, able to speak to some of the youth. However, that could